Hello and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at WWE's Hell in a Cell from last night. We're still in the bloody Thunderdome. Thankfully we're going to be rid of it soon. It couldn't be too soon. It's painful to watch, it's painful to listen to. I'll talk about it a little bit more after this. Start off with the kickoff show. Well, there's just one match, Mandy Rose and Natalya. I'm not quite sure why Dana Brooke has been put through the Sable machine. She looks more like other people now. I don't think that's what the problem was. The fact that she didn't look like everywhere else that was blonde, or 90% of the blondes that have been through this company, that wasn't what was holding her back. She stood out before, she had a bit of a unique personality, a different look. There was nothing wrong with it, she should have worked on her in-ring stuff. Natalya won, submission, yeah, not much, but I'm a bit concerned about Mandy Rose. Those outfits get skimpier and skimpier, and she's going to do one of those jumping high knees at some point and just slice herself in two like that scene from the first Resident Evil film. It's not going to be pretty. The first match on the main card was Bianca Belair against Bayley, a rematch between these two. They have good chemistry. I like watching them wrestle. Bayley's just really good. She knows exactly what she's doing. You can tell she's leading this. She was tying Bianca Belair's hair to everything and kicking the crap out of her. Within the first maybe 2 minutes or so, they went straight to getting chairs, and it was a bit too much too soon considering you had a whole evening of just hardcore matches, essentially. The swings and dodges that they did at the beginning to get advantage with a chair, to try and get advantage with a chair, they looked quite lame, to be fair. Sorry, apart from that, I liked the rest of the match. Bayley shouting "Shut up, Michael" to Michael Cole during beating somebody up is always amusing too. They got the ladders out. You're going to fill the bingo card quite soon, and then nobody else on the show is going to have anything left to do. Yeah. Although it was a good match, but a lot of it was unnecessary. And despite being a sneaky little bastard all the way through, Bayley couldn't win. Bianca Belair hit the kiss of death onto that lovely bent ladder there. She retained the title. WWE suggests that we go start gambling now. Yeah. They also give us some advice about vaccines. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do either way, but if I'm being told I'm being given an informed decision, yeah, I'm only hearing one side of a story, that's not quite what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah, SummerSlam's coming up soon, so we're just going to smash you in the face with that for the next few months, not few weeks. Seth Rollins and Cesaro are next. It's another rematch. Two good guys that can work really well together. Seth Rollins worked on Cesaro's eye. Cesaro just... every chance he got, he showed off his strength, as you'd expect. And eventually Seth Rollins got a sneaky roll-up to steal one, so this feud's going to continue now, because they're one apiece. Although I'm not sure where that leaves Seth Rollins' mentality, because since he's become a dad, he's just been getting crazier and crazier. WWE are going to be touring again soon, which is nice, because the Thunderdome needs to go. Can't forget to give Peacock a bit of gobbling mid-pay-per-view as well. And Money in the Bank's on its way soon. As I've mentioned before regarding Alexa Bliss and zombies and Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker, some supernatural stuff can be done well. You leave a little bit to the person's imagination, and it's okay. You do too much and you show too much, and it just looks ridiculous, and that's what we've got here again, I'm afraid. I know a lot of people like Alexa Bliss, maybe not for the reasons other people watch wrestling, but that's each to their own. Everyone, including Reginald in this match, was just confused with Alexa Bliss's stare. I think they were going for some kind of Gorgon Medusa stare of doom. I'm not sure. Eventually, Shayna Baszler looked past this, and she started putting a few holds on Bliss. Bliss just got angrier. Actually, Alexa Bliss, when she got a bit pissed off and she was looking a lot more aggressive, was a bit more entertaining than a usual schoolgirl skipping around and gently slapping people. So that's always a good thing. But then Alexa Bliss controlled Nia Jax with some kind of special magical ability, and Jax took out Reginald, and then Alexa Bliss hit Shayna Baszler with the Twisted Bliss and won the match. So everyone's going to be happy with that. Just in case you didn't get the message earlier, gambling's cool, so just crack on with it and go and see some films we've been paid to tell you about, and some games. And why did WWE do this? You have a tough time convincing your own fans to tell you what the best bloody moment of the year was, so you're not going to get outsiders. Get over yourselves. Two friends fight once again. I'm sure we've all seen Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fight about 150 times now. I'm not saying it wasn't a good match, because it was. Zayn took advantage very early of the previous injury that Kevin Owens sustained. And then, I'm not sure what happened with Kevin Owens' arm. He was saying his shoulder was hurt, but he was holding his forearm or his wrist. after Zayn did a suicide dive to the outside, so I think he might be legitimately injured, and he just manned up and went all the way through. So good on him if that's the case. After a while, Kevin Owens couldn't really defend himself, and Sami Zayn won by smashing his face in with a haluva kick. And WWE went to go and buy some more t-shirts and spend some more money because, you know, they're never happy. And, right, I mentioned this with the KFC thing. I've mentioned it with numerous other cross-promotion endorsements. I know Vince is getting on and is not going to come out and sell all of these himself, but every time you get another company come in and give you a product to sell, you make your wrestlers and your talent look like shit. You're devaluing them just to promote something else. The KFC Colonel outfit is just the worst, or the greatest example in this instance. But Booker T standing there doing his catchphrases holding this credit card. It's a bit sad, to be fair. I know he's probably got paid very well for this, but it makes him look ridiculous. And it doesn't put your product over, it just puts their product over. Sorry. I will say something positive about this. Although Stephanie McMahon's notorious for philanthropy is the future of marketing, she loved that quote. This is quite a good thing because a lot of people have been trying to downplay the roles of good dads, and yeah, so well done with that. Thanks for the theme song, Ozzy. Have some advertising. Now we've got a Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Oh, they have a convincing bit of heat between them, actually. They've had clunky chemistry, as I've described in the past, where they've sort of looked like two Wing Chun dummies falling over together. But they wrestled an alright match. It was quite convincing, like a struggle. Like I say, they look like they've got a bit of a competitive beef between them, which is always good when you're watching wrestling. Charlotte Flair tried to do Andrade's double moonsault off the top, where you do a moonsault, the person rolls out the way, you land on your feet, and then you moonsault again to hit him the second time. I thought knees were going to blow up. Please don't do that again. You're going to end up crippling yourself. You're not as agile as he is. He's like quick like a cat on his feet. You've got the, well, maybe like a flamingo or something. It wasn't pretty. Charlotte Flair won the match via DQ when Rhea Ripley used their hood of the table for, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that be used as a qualification before. But the referee ended it, and I think we've seen a heel turn in Rhea Ripley. Stone Cold's podcast has got Mick Foley on it this week, which should be quite interesting. And if you forgot that SummerSlam tickets were on sale 10 minutes ago when we were told, you've got another reminder now. Peacock, yeah, get balls deep in them. Money in the Bank's coming up soon, so thanks. Main event time now, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. We went straight to the weapons on the outside, just like we did with the first match in the cell. It didn't need to do it, you could have built up to it. It was a long match, was this. We saw some really nice high-impact moves on the floor and on the steel steps. We got the cage use loads, hitting into it, grating the faces into it. You didn't need to rush straight away. This match took quite a while to finish because they wanted to really get the point over that Drew isn't weak, but Bobby is obviously strong. MVP pulled the referee away when he got involved. He managed to get in when the first referee got bumped, couldn't count the fall. And then when you thought it was all over, MVP distracted McIntyre again. Lashley rolled him up and got the win. Like I say, it was a good match and some hard-hitting fucking moves, but it went on for too long. I get what they were doing, they didn't want Drew to look like a pussy, but I don't think anyone would look like a pussy if they got smashed in by Bobby Lashley. Look at him, he's an absolute monster. Right, thankfully this is the last pay-per-view with this awful Thunderdome. It's gone on far too long, it hurts your eyes, your ears, it needs to go. If we keep it, which I think WWE, well Vince will try to do for as long as possible, it's just going to get worse, and eventually we're going to end up with... We had Matt Riddle's bloody birds flying out of his flip-flops. If we're going to go that far, it's only going to be a matter of time before we've got 3D stars and little birds floating around people's heads that get hit with stuff, or little love heart emojis and shit. We don't need that. All this thing needs now is a one last feud with Randy Orton, because we all know where that ends. So let's just start the programme, get on with it, and be done with this absolute monstrosity. Right, thank you very much for joining me. That's it for the time being. If you'd like to see other work that I do, you can follow me on Twitter at bluntdamage. You can go to dannydamage.co.uk and see all the other articles and things I've got on there. You can go over to geeksandgamers.com and see the articles that I write for them, which includes another week of wrestling, which comes out every Monday. That's Not Wrestling, every Thursday. And as you can see, I've been working my way through the topics of AEW now. or at least many instances of AEW saying that they're going to be an alternative to WWE and how they're going to be a serious sports-based presentation and offer something new and fresh and original, yet they fail to do so. So please check that out. You can also find other work from me on Geeks and Gamers now, as I covered E3 last weekend, which was fun in its own right, but also quite painful. I've taken over a bit. Whoops.